Children, welcome to biology online classes. So, in the previous class, we have studied about enzymes. Enzymes are biological catalyst, and I have told you in the biological system, all steps, very simple small steps, are also catalyzed by enzymes, and enzymes cannot work in a temperature, or they need optimum conditions to work. At high temperature, chemical catalysts, when their speed or velocity increases, the reactions velocity increases. But enzyme catalyzed reactions cannot do like this, because at high temperature the enzymes will get denatured. So let's see how do enzymes bring about such high rates of chemical conversions. So first of all, the thing is, we have discussed that there will be an active site, isn't it? What is active site? In the three-dimensional structure of the proteins or enzymes, there will be some crevices or pockets to which the substrate can attach. So this active sites, binding of active site to means binding of substrate to active site, which results in the formation of a enzyme substrate complex. So when the substrate binds to the active site, first what will happen? An enzyme substrate complex will form. And in the ES complex, that is enzyme substrate complex, lot of changes happens. That means their bond formation takes place, bond breaking takes place. So during this, substrate is bound to the enzyme's active site, and a new structure of the substrate called the transition states is formed. Means the first what happens, substrate will come and bind to the active site of enzyme and forms a enzyme substrate complex. And it should split into enzyme and product, isn't it? So during this there are lot of transition states, which includes what? The formation of bonds and breaking of bonds. And then only the product will be released. So this transition states, there can be many transition states, which finally will change into the product. So when you see the energy level, you can see the substrate, if it is the potential energy and if it is the progress of reaction. Substrate will come, first what will happen? Substrate will join to the enzyme, and then enzyme substrate complex will form, and then it will be changed into the products. So you can see that the during this, the energy of the substrate, or the transition state is very high. Transition state means when the substrate is attached to the enzyme, they undergo a lot of changes. And the energy of that is very high. And when this energy, is reduced, or when the product is formed, if the energy is less than the substrate, then it will be an exothermic reaction, means the energy will be released in this. And if it is endothermic, means what? The energy level of product will be more, but still during the whatever it is in endothermic or exothermic, the transition level need what? Lot of energy, or that contains energy. Understood? So the difference in average energy content of substrate from that of the transition state is known as what? Activation energy. So enzymes bring down the activation energy, making the transition of substrate to product more easily. So that is the what a real what function the enzymes does. What it does, it reduces the activation energy. The activation energy means what? The energy, that is the energy difference between the S and of the transition state. So transition state, I told, it is having high energy, and enzymes bring down this energy so that the substrate can be easily converted to product. Understood? So, what is the nature of enzyme action? Enzyme has a substrate binding site, Okay, that is known as the active site. And when it binds to the active site, when a substrate binds to the active site, it becomes the enzyme substrate complex. Okay, and it is short lived, and it will be dissociated, or it will be split into products and the unchanged enzyme. Okay, with an intermediate formation of enzyme product complex. So enzyme plus, so this is the what the steps of enzyme action. Okay, you can represent like this. That is, enzyme will combine with a substrate and form a enzyme substrate complex, which will be converted to an enzyme product, very transient existing, short lived, okay, product complex, and then it will be split into enzyme and products. Okay, so the catalytic cycle of an enzyme can be studied like this. First, the substrate bind to the active site of enzyme, fitting into the active site. Active site are what? The due to the three-dimensional arrangement of the protein. Okay, enzymes are proteins. Mainly they are proteins. Okay, so there will be some crevices to which the substrate can get fit. Okay, that is known as active site. Thus, binding of substrate induces the enzyme to alter its shape, okay, fitting more tightly around the substrate. Then the active site of the enzyme, now in close proximity of the substrate, okay, breaks the chemical bonds of the substrate, and the new enzyme product complex is formed. Then the enzyme releases the products of the reaction, and the free enzyme will be ready to bind to the another substrate. Okay, so like this the catalytic cycle of enzymes works. Okay, so I told this for this. Okay, the enzyme product, the enzyme when it is split into products, there are various transient stages, and this transient stages should they are having high energy. Okay, so the enzymes reduces the energy, activation energy of the means of the substrate, this transient stages. Okay, and that make the reactions very fast. And this is the enzyme catalytic cycle. Okay, how it works. Now, what are the factors affecting the activity of enzyme? Okay, so there are various what factors like temperature, pH, change in substrate concentration, okay, or binding of specific chemicals that regulates its activity. So all these are can have the effect on the enzymes. So enzymes need an optimum temperature and pH, isn't it? So beyond that, the temperature, beyond that temperature or beyond that pH, the enzymes won't work. Okay, so if the pH or temperature is below the optimum value, then the activity will be very slow. And if it is a temperature, especially if it is high, that destroys the enzyme, and thereby what happen, the reaction rate will decrease. Understood? So like that, if the temperature is optimum, then in that time only the rate of reaction will be high, because at low temperature it will become inactivated, and at high temperature, as enzymes are proteins, they will get denatured, and that will result in the decline in the rate of reaction. Okay, now concentration of substrate, that is another factor that helps in the means that controls the rate of reaction. Okay, so if the substrate concentration is increasing slowly, the velocity also start increases at first. Okay, and then what happen, it reaches to a maximum velocity, and after that it cannot be exceeded. Why? Because the enzyme molecule will become the limiting factor now, means it will not be available for the more substrates. Okay, so what will happen again, the velocity of the reaction will not increase. Okay, and another what factor that affect the enzyme activity is the presence of specific chemicals known as inhibitors. Okay, so some molecules which inhibit the action of enzyme activity is known as what? Inhibitors. Okay, so when the inhibitor is having same structure as that of the substrate, what will happen, they both the substrate and the inhibitor molecule will fight for the active site. isn't it? So this kind of what inhibition is known as competitive inhibition. Means the substrate and the enzyme will have the same structure. So what will happen due to this close structural similarity? The inhibitor compete with the substrate, isn't it? For the active site. So what will happen? The substrate cannot bind, means the number of active sites available for the substrate will be less, and this is the reason the enzyme action declines. Okay, for example, inhibition of succinic dehydrogenase by malonate, okay, is an example here. Succinic dehydrogenase by malonate. Okay, so both are having what the that is which that malonate closely resembles with the substrate succinate, and in that case what happened, the rate of reaction reduces. Okay, so this only we use this kind of things we use in case of what medicines, isn't it? For example, for control of bacterial pathogens, we take some medicines which are having same molecular structure as of that of the substrate that is needed for their metabolic pathway. Is it clear? So thereby we can reduce the growth of them. Understood? So that is used in this. So what are competitive inhibitors? Are what? Molecules which reduces the enzymatic activities. Okay, competitive inhibitor means they are having same what the structure as that of the substrate. So what will happen, they will both substrate and the inhibitor molecule will compete for the same active site. So what will happen, the rate will get reduced. Okay, now another topic is classification of enzymes. Okay, so enzymes are broadly classified into 6 classes. Okay, with each with the 4 to 13 subclasses in each. Okay, and then they are mainly catalyzed or divided into 6 classes on the basis of the type of reaction they catalyze. Okay, so for example, the oxidoreductases are the enzymes which catalyze oxidoreduction between two substrate. Okay, one will get oxidized and the other will get reduced. Okay, so that kind of reaction, okay, if it is catalyzing, that kind of enzymes are known as oxidoreductases or dehydrogenases. Okay, then next group is the transferases. So in this kind of enzymes, they help in the transfer of one group. Okay, for example, other than hydrogen, okay, between a pair of substrate S and S dash. Okay, you can see here this was having a group known as G and S dash was not having. Okay, but after the reaction, S will be freed and S dash will get a G group. So that kind of reaction, transfer of a group, if any enzyme is catalyzing, that are known as transferases. Okay, then hydrolases means which help in the hydrolysis of ester, ether, peptide, glycosidic, okay, CC, C halide or PN bonds. So by some of the bonds are broken by addition of water, isn't it? So that kind of enzymes catalyzing hydrolysis of ester, that are known as what? Hydrolases. Lyases, they are enzymes which catalyze removal of groups from substrate by mechanism other than hydrolysis. Okay, leaving double bonds, means by adding water, if the bonds are broken, then that is known as, that kind of enzymes are hydrolases. And lyases means without hydrolysis by any other method, if the bonds are broken and double bonds or are left. Okay, then isomerases are enzymes which help in the interconversion of isomers. One form of isomer will get converted to another form, that are known as what? Isomerases. Ligases are enzymes which catalyze the linking of two compounds. Okay, ligases helps in the linking of two compounds. Okay, formation of CO, CS, CN, PO, etc. bonds. Okay, these bonds are formed by the enzymes called, group of enzymes called ligases. So these are what various kinds of enzymes. Depends upon what? Depends upon their action, what kind of action they catalyze. Okay, now we are going to study about another topic, that is cofactors. Okay, so I told you enzymes are made up of what? Polypeptide chains, isn't it? Or they are proteins. And there are some proteins which contain some non-protein constituents. So the non-protein part of enzyme is known as what? Cofactors. Okay. So what is the function of it? It makes the enzyme catalytically active. Okay. Then the protein part of enzyme in this case is known as apoenzyme. So what are cofactors? Non-protein part, and the protein part is known as apoenzymes. And the cofactors, what are cofactors? The non-protein part, isn't it? Can be identified as prosthetic groups, coenzymes and metal ions. So all this can be the non-protein part. So prosthetic groups are what? They are cofactors only, but they are tightly bound to the apoenzyme. What is apoenzyme? The protein part. If the coenzymes are tightly bound, cofactors, okay, if they are tightly bound, then that kind of cofactors are known as prosthetic groups. Okay, and then example in peroxidase and catalase, okay, which catalyze the breakdown of hydrogen peroxide to water and oxygen. Heme is the prosthetic group, okay, and it is the part of active site of the enzyme. Okay, so heme is the prosthetic group. What is prosthetic group? It's a non-protein part which is tightly attached to the apoenzyme. Now coenzymes are what? Organic compounds, okay, are also organic compounds, but their association with the apoenzyme is transient, means they are not tightly bound. Okay, coenzymes serve as cofactors in a number of different enzymes catalyzed reactions also. Okay, so example coenzyme nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, NAD and NADP. Okay, they contain the vitamin niacin. Okay, so here what they will be the prosthetic the cofactors are transiently attached. Okay, so there won't be a permanent, or permanent means tight attachment is not there. Okay, then in addition to that, a number of enzymes are having what? Metal ions. Okay, various metal ions for the activities. So this which can form bonds with the side chain at the active site, and at the same time form one or more coordination bonds with the substrate. Okay, so zinc is a cofactor which helps in the zinc is a cofactor for the proteolytic enzyme carboxypeptidase. Okay, so zinc is the cofactor in which enzyme? Carboxypeptidase. Okay, so this the catalytic activity is lost when cofactor is removed from the enzyme. That means they play an important role in the catalytic activity of the enzyme. So today what we have learned is the how do enzymes bring about high rate of chemical conversion. How? By reducing the activation energy. Okay, then we have studied how the cycle of catalytic cycle of enzyme action is there. What are the factors affecting the enzymes? And then I told you about the classification of enzymes, and we have also discussed about the cofactors. Topic I have to tell you here, that is secondary and primary metabolites. So when we studied about the the plant and animal tissues extraction, okay, we found that we get what? Various compounds, biomolecules we get, isn't it? So especially in plants, in addition to the what? Normal the molecules what we get, like amino acids, sugars, etc., we called it as metabolites, isn't it? So in addition to that, okay, we get some other compounds, okay, especially when we analyze the plant, fungal and microbial cells, we get thousands of other compounds, what known as alkaloids, flavonoids, rubber, essential oils, okay, antibiotics, colored pigments, scents, gums, spices, etc., isn't it? So these all together are known as secondary metabolites. Okay, so secondary metabolites are actually what they are not have means they what role they play in the plant or this organisms, we are not sure about that. But primary metabolites, what they are functioning or they are having roles in normal physiological processes. But secondary metabolites are produced by the plants, but their function is not known. Okay, means what function they do in the plants we don't know. Okay, so that kind of molecules are known as what? Secondary metabolites. So secondary metabolites are found where? In the plants. Okay, when we analyze the tissues of plants, we get thousands of other molecules, and their normal function or what function they do in the plants we are not knowing. Okay, and they are useful for human being. Okay, for example, rubber, drugs, spices, scents. Okay, so they may have some protective function against what certain predators, isn't it? So some of the animals, they avoid these plants due to the presence of this. So all these are what? The secondary metabolites. So I hope this chapter is very clear to you. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.